first. I'm happy.
Yes, we one day.
Funds are in escrow for both of them, so I'm very happy about that. I might have another one. I was just telling Blanca to submit an REO, but the final deadline is today. It happened like an hour ago, so hopefully we hear back. If not, then I'm going to tell him to submit on another property that we saw yesterday. Seems pretty straightforward. So hopefully
They'll get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go, Patrick. You're on fire right now, bro. You got like 5 deals going right now, huh?
Yes, I think it's
my mind is going all over the place, and I
Good.
saw my other job.
No, that's so good. That's good. You have a new home, remember?
Yes.
Don't forget.
Patrick,
Okay,
that deal you got, the one in Santa Clara, what you end up getting in contract for? What price?
2.62.
Is that going to
Wow.
be your biggest deal?
Yeah.
2.62
Yeah.
in Santa Clara?
Yeah.
That small
Oh.
one?
Mm-hmm.
Santa Clara is hard. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Darn. That's
Let's
crazy.
go. Well, I want to give it up for Patrick, guys, because that was one of his goals. You know, he wanted to start going into the higher price points. You know, that was one of the goals that we've been working on with our one-on-ones and stuff. And so, dude, I mean, talk about higher price point, bro. 2.6 mil. Like,
Yes.
that's awesome, man. I just want to give it up for Patrick. Give him some love. Let's go, man. And the great way to get more bigger deals like that is just start really getting good with those clients, because they're going to know other people who have high price points as well, right? So, I mean, this could really be like an opening into that network, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
No, it's through Zillow.
Okay, that's fine.
His friend is also looking, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Through Apple.
Another thing that's cool, guys, that I've been seeing some other agents do is when they get a buyer in contract, they're making a video at the property, even though they're on the buyer side. Because a lot of times we're making videos when we're on the listing side, but they're making a video, like hiring a videographer and doing like a video talking about how they got their client in contract, what were the key things that they did. Those are huge things that you guys could be doing to really leverage that buyer, right? Especially a property like that, Patrick. That property is super nice. You know what I mean? So it's worth it for you to invest a couple $100 and pay a videographer to go do a quick little 1-minute highlight reel where you're in there talking, and it's a really dope video that you can use forever, you know, online, on social media, in your emails and all that stuff. So I would highly recommend, guys, if you guys are like getting these properties that are good price points, leverage video for those properties, you know. And if you guys need help setting it up, I can definitely help you guys set it up. We have our guy that does our photos and stuff, Jose. He's the one that does like our Zillow showcase photos and all that. He already told me he would do videos for us, probably for like $250 or $300 if we wanted video testimonials or videos of properties and stuff like that. So I already kind of negotiated a price with them. And he does pretty good work. So if you want something, guys, let's book it ASAP.
Yeah, send it my way.
Is this who we've been using for our listing photos?
Yeah.
Okay. He's
Oh,
yeah,
did
he's
you
good.
Sam it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
nice.
He's
Okay,
good.
Yeah.
Young kid.
Send it my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool guy. And because I think John is working on getting some client testimonial videos. So Jose was going to go out there to the client's house and do a couple testimonial videos as well. And so that's a really good investment for you guys, because these are assets that brand you, that will live forever, right? Like if you have a handful of videos like that, those are going to live forever. You could be using those for years to come, and nobody knows when that property was sold or not, but it's something you can constantly use over and over. So that's a really good investment on your guys' part that I would recommend. All right, let's go around the room. Sri, how you feeling today, brother? Give me some good news, positive focus. What do you got?
It's good. All is good. Two are closed. I'm so happy to hand over them the keys. Especially yesterday's clients are such a bliss. Like, they're so happy. I didn't do much. I just put some balloons and some stuff, but they were so happy. And I could really feel that they are really happy.
Yeah.
It's their first time home. Like, I met them a year back, and they completely trusted me with the process, because there's a first time they're buying in the US and they don't know anything actually.
Yeah.
And they're very sweet, and I really felt very nice. Tomorrow they have a ceremony again with the priest. They invited me for that also, and they said
Oh,
you have
yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
you have to be there. And
Yes.
and they said like they have one more friend, and they gave me the contact already to talk to them.
Mhm.
And it was nice day yesterday, and it feels truly great that someone is going to start the family there, and they're so happy that they said it's just because of you this happened.
What's the best reward?
Yeah, exactly. And
That.
they were so happy. They were so happy actually.
Yeah. Good.
That actually made my day yesterday. When you truly see they're so happy and they value you so much.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's good. It's a good start. I rolled out an offer, but it's, oh my God, we couldn't compete with it. It's like 19 offers.
Oh,
It's in a
nice.
Cambrian. It's Sandra, like from Joe's team. She's nice. I connected with her, but I think my guys couldn't go beyond 2.2.
Oh, wow.
They have offers up to 2.4, she said.
Jeez.
It's
Wow.
listed for 1.8. Yeah, and we went till 2.2. 20-day close, non-contingent. She said, Shri, no, you're far off.
Oh, wow.
So
Where's it at?
it's in Cambrian, Hawkins Drive, right very close to that Samaritan Hospital. Good
Mhm.
Samaritans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Damn, 2.4 was listed at 1.8.
Yeah,
Pretty
1.8. So yeah, for them again, we are actually looking again. Yes.
What's up, Rob? You're happy? What's up, bro? What's the news?
I got something.
I got something. You gotta. I did. So I haven't been on Zillow, guys. I haven't been on Zillow, right? So Kike is. We're trying to figure out ways for me to get back on Zillow, and they gave me 50 leads. First call I'm making on it. Listing appointment, but I had this. I went on a listing appointment a year ago, and she remembers me. She goes, "I've been trying to get a hold of you." So I called her. And we're listing a new property out in Mountain View. She has like 3 properties right now that she's like putting on Mountain View, Palo Alto, and all. And it was just from a simple first phone call right now that I just made, and it went amazing. So the conversation went great. It flowed great. So sorry guys, my bad.
Oh, let's go. No, we're sharing good news right now, bro. So you're.
Oh, is that what it is? All right, guys. I'm sorry.
Stuff. Good
Good win,
stuff.
Rob.
Mark,
Oh, Blanca. Hey.
rolling through. I'm gonna skip over to Mark now. Mark, talk to me. Give me some good news. What are you feeling good about today, Mark?
Daddy daycare is going pretty good. We got day two of doing the routine by myself, and my wife's on calls in the other room. So I was very fortunate that she's gone down for naps pretty easily, because the last couple days before this, it's been an absolute struggle. So feeling good about that. And she did over an hour nap, whereas yesterday was 20 minutes. So I'm going to try to squeeze in my calls as much as I can during her nap windows. That's what I'm feeling good about.
Let's go, man. Good stuff, bro.
Exciting.
That's awesome. Awesome. Exciting. Blanca, last but not least, what are you feeling good about?
Couple things. Everything's going good. I feel like the market is hot, energy's good, people are happy. You have some Debbie Downers out there, but for the most part, everybody's good. I closed a deal in Dublin, and that was it was a referral from a family member. With this family, it was a bittersweet situation. They bought their dream home, you could say, but it was the proceeds were from a settlement that they received of a family situation. But the whole experience for them, they shared with me, was just amazing, nothing that they expected, and they felt that they were in the best hands ever. So it's another rewarding thing, like Shri says, aside from our commission or what we're going to be receiving. It's just the bond and the experience that we create for these clients that really just take it home. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Shri, I don't know if these are your clients, Shri, but we got 2 new reviews on our Google that came in.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
they didn't mention the agent, but I don't know if these are yours. Is this one of yours, Taslima
no.
or
I
Ma Buzz, Ramen.
This guy is mine, Pratik Shekhar, who I closed. The third one.
Okay, well you got a couple reviews, bro. I don't know whose review this was from. Taslima Khanum.
Oh,
Does that ring a bell to anybody?
Mm-mm.
mhm.
Okay, well, it was a really good review. Outstanding experience with PRG. Their team was professional, knowledgeable, seamless, good guidance. Highly recommend.
Maybe
said we-
John's?
Yeah, I say we all.
Yeah, this one as well. These both came in last night. And then Shri, you had gotten this one, a 5-star review.
He wrote it in the very good review in our Zillow reviews, actually. Yeah.
That was a review.
How are we doing this now? Kike, are you guys actively pushing these on your end? Is that what admin's doing? Like Andrea and them pushing for these?
Yeah,
Okay.
so after the closing, Tin and Andrea will send a text and an email, and then we also have a campaign where FUB automatically sends it as well. They get a series of emails once we change the status to closed. So the clients are getting a few reminders, but it's hard to get these clients to do them. I feel like because once they buy a home or something, they're busy trying to get situated. And so sometimes waiting like a couple weeks after usually is more effective, but we are sending them out, just FYI.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool, guys. So today what I wanted to do a little bit of open mastermind today. I have a couple questions to kind of start the conversation. We're having a lot of momentum right now. We're having a lot of success. There's people on this call and in the office that are on a roll right now. So, but then there's also some people that might be having some challenges too. And so what I know is that, we can learn from each other if we all kind of share what's working for us. The other thing that I want us to be aware of is that it becomes a challenge when you're managing multiple clients, right? Because trying to do one or two at a time, that's not as bad. But if you have 4, 5, 6 escrows or 6 hot clients going on, that can become a challenge just with time and stuff like that. So I also want to talk about, what some of you guys are doing to create more leverage in your business, right? To get more time back or to be more efficient. And so I kind of have a little bit of just like 3 or 4 questions that I'll ask, and we'll kind of go around, and feel free to share which one stands out to you. But these are the questions right here. So number 1 is, if you're having any challenges right now, I'd like to know about those so we can openly discuss these. If you have a couple things that you're seeing that are working, like some key things that you're doing to move buyers or sellers forward, and I want you to be more like specific, not just general information. Like if there's a specific thing you're doing as part of your process that you feel is really working with your clients, I want to know that. What are you doing to manage multiple clients at a time? Any tips or advice on how to manage multiple clients? And then is there anything you're doing to help you create more leverage in your business, right? So these are all the questions. You don't have to answer them in any order, just whatever one sticks out to you, and then we'll kind of keep that conversation going. So who'd like to go first? Volunteer.
I'll go first. I think out of this group here, I think I'm like probably the weakest link right now. So I think I have a lot of questions that may help in kind of figuring it out. My buyers suck. So I'm having a really hard time with my buyers. I don't actually see any buyers getting it through.
Okay. When you say suck, what do you mean? Let's peel that back a little bit, right? What do you mean by your buyers suck? So specifically, what?
Like I don't have any buyers right now that I see. I'm either trying to push them forward to get them to take the next step. I've been using. I talked to Shri last week in regards to how he's kind of pushing his buyers forward, and I am getting a little bit of traction on that, but just trying to figure out how to kind of get that going faster. So it seems like when you guys get a deal in, you guys are pushing something out. Like there's offers being written, but not on my end.
Okay, so that's a great question, guys. I mean, because Rob is trying to, get some buyers under his belt. He's been primarily focused on listings, and now he's adding buyers to the mix, which I think is a great strategy. And some of you guys are having a lot of success with buyers. So maybe, Blanca, Shri, or Patrick, maybe what are some key fundamental things you guys are doing to get your buyers to move forward? Is there anything you're doing in the initial call that you feel really makes a difference, or in the showings that really makes a difference, or even after you show a home and they show signs that they may like the property? Is there anything you're doing that you feel really makes a difference on getting them to move forward to write in an offer? So it could be any of the stages, right? From the beginning to the middle to moving forward. But what's your magic? What's your magic sauce that you do that helps you move them to the next step?
Here, you mind if I ask questions, Kiki? Can I-
Oh. Go ahead, Rob. You have a specific question?
Anybody?
Yeah. Here's my question, guys. So when you guys get the phone call on Zillow and you guys book the appointments, like, what is the percent? Like, are you guys pretty much converting people into an appointment, like right then and there, like pretty quickly, or are you still noticing a follow-up process?
I can go. I had a Zillow lead come in and I met them on, what was it? Jeez, Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. I met them on Tuesday. I met her there at the property. It's a condo. It's not outrageous price point, nothing. It's a condo. She's looking for an investment property for a rental. She's already a homeowner. I met her at the property. She didn't sign the Zillow broker tour because I don't know if you guys know this. If it's a lead coming in from Trulia but going through Zillow, Zillow doesn't send the touring agreement. You have to send it manually. Just FYI, so don't rely on it. So I met her there. I had the touring agreement and I was waiting for her at the door. Introduced myself, told her, I said, I'm sorry, I know that I mentioned Zillow was going to send a touring agreement. It looks like it didn't make it to your inbox, but this is the process. So as we're going through it, I'm asking her questions. I know you briefly said about buying an investment property. How soon do you want to do that? Where are you at in the process, et cetera, et cetera. She's talking to me. We're talking. She's completely signing the form. We go into the property and I'm just giving her feedback on the neighborhood. It's over there by Oak Grove High School. I'm familiar with the area. I'm telling her the price points. I'm telling her the differences. We may find something like this that's turnkey, that's going to be a little higher, or we might find something that needs a little bit of work. Is that something you're open to? So I'm just giving her tons of information and also letting her know primarily this is a rental community. Most of these homes are not owner occupied. It's a rental community, giving her feedback on the HOA, as much info that I can share with her. We wrap up, we close. I ask her what her thoughts are on the home. She gives me her feedback. And then she told me, you did mention to me you were going to send me a few other homes. So before that, I did send her a few other homes. I said, yes. So let me know what's your schedule like. How available are you for tours? Is it just in the morning, afternoon? And then I said, how qualified are you if this home meets all the buckets to submit an offer? She said, I'm not. I need to get my loan in place. I said, great. Zillow Lending. I talked about Zillow Lending. That's the first one I referred to, Zillow Lending. Then I said, I have an alternate for you. I said, I really want to do a buyer consultation with you, even though you're a homeowner, just to freshen up on the market and let you know how competitive it is, my experience and who I am, just so you know what I'm about. And if it makes sense for us to work together, then great. And if not, no hard feelings. She goes, no, I definitely want to move forward with you. I said, is okay if I do a warm introduction with our Zillow Lending team so that you get that going? She goes, yes. So then I got to the office, sent it to Ben. Ben reached out. She responded right away. She already submitted her application, I believe. They're going through the process and we're doing a buyer consultation today. So I met her on Tuesday, got the lending team. We're doing a buyer consultation today. I know she's going to move forward with me.
Okay. Now, when you go in there, I know how you do it, Blanca, when it comes to like the resources that you bring to the table, to the first appointment. Are you guys all doing that as well? Are you guys doing that much? I think, Patrick, I heard you one time you were doing like, you were pulling disclosures out. Is that right? Like on the first meetup?
Yeah, like a rough one-sheeter of like what I see. Like for the one that just got sent to Inez, one thing that he really told me was more so like all the properties that we've seen, you told me like, hey, this is what I recommend, or this, I would stay away from this property if there's foundation issues. So it kind of minimized the amount of driving I had to do. And so that way we got to like a particular home that I want to submit on. That really helped because of course, like when you like a property and you all of a sudden look at disclosure and there's something wrong, you kind of just wasted your time when you could have like found out right then and there, and sped things up.
Rob, if you don't mind me giving some feedback, like what Patrick is saying, it's more like, what are you providing that's not accessible to them online that they don't know?
Okay.
That they don't know. Like, why is the seller selling? What issues are happening with the property? Like what Patrick is saying is bringing some tools. Like, you don't have to have everything printed out, but just have talking points. Like skim, if the disclosures are available, skim through them. Hey, I happen to notice that X is going on at this property. Just wanted to bring that to your attention so they know that you're in tune. I think that's what really makes a difference for the client to take the next step forward with us as agents.
Now, are we all doing this? Are we all doing this at a high level? Mark, are you doing the same thing too, like at this high level where we're taking these initial steps in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring like a quick comp sheet of what's sold and what's active in the neighborhood. And then I'll usually bring like 1 or 2 extra properties, and I'll try to initiate to go on another tour with me right then and there if they have time. And then I'll usually bring like 1 coming soon property to show that, hey, there's other properties I have access to as well.
Okay. Now, are we following the rules when it comes to like asking for the touring sheet to get done? Are we all doing that? We're all doing that.
I had her sit in front of the door because she didn't sign it.
Okay.
Nothing to her. So I said, I know nothing was sent to your inbox. We do need this to be toured. And I brought her the information of why I did my 3%. I touched on that, what that entails to, how I'm able to negotiate it from the seller. I said, but we're going to go through all of this in detail on our consultation.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of the Zillow side of things just for a while. So these questions I know they're redundant for you guys. So I appreciate you guys sharing it. But yeah, so it sounds like you guys are doing everything at a much higher level than what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Which is good that we had, because now I get to kind of go in there, kind of I need to step on my games to catch up to you guys. But it makes sense. You guys are the top producers, right? You guys are the ones that are kind of kicking ass right now in the office. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Let me jump in real quick, guys. Because I want to, or Mark, do you have something? Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was going to say one other thing that you could do if you haven't already done this, Rob, go into your Zillow Premier profile. Do you have it set up to automatically send the touring agreement with the connection?
I think I've done it. I think I did in the beginning, but again, I haven't jumped on in months, right? So I'll double check and do it. Do you guys reset? Jessica keeps telling me to reset my my app. Do you guys reset the app?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, refresh it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Refresh it, re-download it, because sometimes it has updates and sometimes it messes up if you don't.
Okay. So yeah, maybe I need to do things like that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's kind of break some of that down, right? Because I don't want us to. I want us to go deeper on this. I want to point out, right, what you heard from Patrick, Mark, and Blanca. Number one is what we got to realize is when we meet these clients for the first time, it's like going on a first date with somebody, right? Are they going to be impressed with what you bring to the table? If you're just going out there unprepared and just kind of winging it, you're not really going to stand out from any other agent, right? Because let's say, Rob, let's say you were at a different brokerage and you're getting Zillow over there. Well, you're competing with these 3 agents right here, right? So if these 3 agents are doing all of that and you're not, you're already at a disadvantage, right? So I think we just got to remember that first impression is key. The other thing we got to realize is what are the chances of them buying that first home that you show them, guys? Is it high or low?
Yeah.
It's low.
Low.
Low, very low.
Pretty low, right? They're probably 1 out of 10, right? It's a minimal shot that they're going to buy that. So if we know that, that means that first appointment is more of an appointment for you to impress them and show your value, rather than focus on that property, right? That's probably going to be a throwaway property, to be honest, right? But that meeting is going to be a really important meeting because it's going to set the stage for what do I bring to the table when you work with me, right? So if Blanca's coming out there and she's already looked at the comps, she's already researched the neighborhood, she's already called the agent, she's already got some intel on the offers, on the disclosures, on the HOA, on all those different things, and she's giving that to the client on the first shot, knowing the client may not even buy this property, but what she's doing is she's showing the client, hey, when you work with me, you get all of this, right? And then I like that what you also pointed out is you're also qualifying the client. You're asking questions hey, how long have you been looking? Where are you at in the process? You're trying to gauge them so that you can point them in the right direction. So A, you're giving them a ton of value. B, you're qualifying them. And then at the end, you're naturally going to take it to whatever the next step needs to be based off that conversation, right? And so I think like if we just stop right there, like if you just focus on give as much value, qualify them, and then make a professional recommendation at the end, you'll win a lot of times on just by doing that, right? Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the fundamentals right there, Rob.
Yeah.
And so how long does it take for you to prep though? Really quick. Blanca or Shri or Marco, before you guys go out to that initial showing, how much time are you spending prepping for that showing?
Not a lot. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Probably it max takes like 15 to 30 minutes. I sometimes this is what I learned from Blanca. Like next to the agent full, I'll write all those major red flags.
Mhm.
Like for suppose how much termite cost, how much foundation cost, to just give them idea. Hey guys, just because of you just started your home search, I reviewed the disclosures for you. These are not a major red flags, but these are the reports what the sellers have provided. If you would like to in detail, we can try to book the next appointment. It's max 30 minutes, Rob.
Actually, that's a great segue in, huh? Is bringing some disclosures up and say, yeah, for more details, let's jump into it more. You know what I mean? Okay, that's good.
So you're printing that comp sheet, right? The full one, the agent full,
Yeah.
right? So you pull up the property on MLS, you print that sheet out, and then you take your notes on that sheet, right?
Yeah.
You look at the disclosures and you might write termite, $5,000, electrical needs to be replaced, roof, 5 years old. You're writing like a couple highlights, and then you bring that on the appointment with you, and now you have something where you're showing them and you're telling them, right? And that takes a little bit of time, but it gives you that knowledge of the property, right? So you're not going out there empty-handed. And then the comps too, when you check out the comps really quick, that gives you an idea of what's happening in the market. So then now you can share that with them. Hey, in this particular neighborhood, a home down the street just went pending in 5 days and they got, 50,000 over asking. Or there's 3 other condos like this for sale. I don't know if you saw them, right? I pulled them up here. They're right down the street. So now you're no longer just a door opener. Now you're someone that has a ton of resources to provide to them, right? And I think those are the fundamentals, Rob, right there, just on step 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's say the client likes the property, right? What are you guys doing to get them to move forward? What does that segue look like on moving them forward to the next step if they like that particular property, or if they're ready to write an offer?
Offer consultation.
Offer consult, right?
Suggesting the offer consultation.
How do you pitch the
Depend-
offer consultation?
Well, go ahead.
First, I usually do them like if they are pre-qualified. Otherwise, the first step immediately is like, hey, have you already spoke with your lender? Or immediately I can connect with the preferred lender. Meanwhile, I would reach out to the listing agent and see like whether they're reviewing the offers or any due date, or what's the expectations of the sellers, whether they are looking for a clean and top best offer or how it is. I will be doing this simultaneously. Why don't you talk to the lender? Then after this, you'll have your information. I'll have my information. Let's set up an offer consultation. Based on that, we'll see the next steps. That's what I usually pitch.
Got it. So verifying if they're pre-approved or not. If not, talk to the lender, and then, hey, let's go ahead and set up an offer consultation. Now we have all the info. We know the numbers, and now we could talk about the property and what it's going to take to make an offer. All right.
Yeah.
Pretty simple stuff, Rob, this is nothing that you can't do, but what I want you to take away is it's a system, right? Like, you guys don't skip any of those steps with any buyer. Like, it's the same steps over and over, right? We're not doing something different just because it's a different buyer. It's like we're showing it, we're giving value, then we're moving them to the next step of either lender or offer consult, and then we're going from there. And if they don't like the property, then we're setting up a time to go show them more properties, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the way that you should approach it, Rob, is you being the director. You're guiding them to the next step, whether it be the pre-approval, like Shri said, whether they're already approved and now they like the property and they want to do an offer review, they don't like the property, they want to continue shopping, then we're still doing a buyer consultation. There's always a second step, either the pre-approval, writing the offer, or the offer consultation. There always has to be the next appointment, the next step at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, once I'm in the fight, I kind of have an idea of how to steer it. I think I'm more in the details of how you guys do things, right? Even like your follow-ups on how you guys do on that is what I'm more curious about.
One
Okay.
thing what we could add is, Rob, like sometimes in this process, like right in the Bay Area, like how these guys list to get the traffic on the properties. Few times when they are the first-time home buyers, like they just started the market, we show them the comps. Hey, this is the realistic number. This is just a marketing number. Like they're just strategizing to get more traffic, right? But what I did differently was, like, sometimes people was like, how about we just write for the asking and see, right? Like initially I was like, no, it's not like that. We need to look at the comps. But I realized that sometimes if they learn that themselves instead of we teach them, it would be easier in the next offer to educate them easily, right? So guys, if you think you want to write for the asking, okay, let's go ahead and write. At least you know how the offer process works.
That's right.
How the contract looks. We'll go through everything and how I go and negotiate with the listing agent and all. We'll see. We'll give it a try. But next time you should listen to me when you find any other property.
Right. That's good. That's always good.
So getting pen to paper, right? Because what that does is at least gets them moving forward. Now, yeah, sometimes we might think, well, it's a waste of time, right? Because they're not making a good offer, but it at least gets them making an offer. And then from there, you're educating them on that process, and then you can adjust for the next one, right? So it's a learning process, especially when they're first-time buyers, guys. Like, they have to learn the market. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then they start. Then they start listening. Okay, let's go. Let's go to someone else, guys. Anything? Let me go back to these questions. What stands out for you? Whoever would like to volunteer. Any challenges that you're having that you want to discuss? Are there any key things you're doing? We already talked about buyers, so we check that off. Anything you're doing that is helping you move sellers forward, or anything you're doing to help manage multiple clients at a time or create leverage in your business, help you get some time back or be more efficient?
For me, I can go if no one is
Yeah.
going. For me, I can talk about that. What are you doing to manage multiple clients at a time? That is, I think, first time I experienced like 3 escrows in one time. That was kind of like little, what do you say, adrenaline, like constantly thinking whether everything is going good in the transaction or anything falling short. At that time, I think I kind of missed out on my my follow-ups and with the other clients, right? Whatever the prospecting, it shouldn't stop. When those are in the, those deals which are in the contract, thinking about them, whether we are hitting the timelines or not sometimes, because few offers are in like 20-day close, and the other ones we are doing some HELOC and everything. There, Enrique, I don't know how to manage this going forward. Whenever in the future, if I'm in that situation, how to better again, taking care of those escrows and doing our prospecting.
Yeah, I mean, anybody have any advice that you can offer, Shri? I mean, I got some tips, but I want to hear from you guys first.
In regards to managing, Shri, I think the what kind of helps me out is time blocking and kind of just sticking with that schedule, right? So for me is, if my prospecting is going to be done in the morning, my follow-ups are going to be done during X times, and then the rest kind of figuring it out. And I think it's just sticking with a schedule to kind of figuring that out. Even when you start to have multiple clients, like in the 3, 4s, or 5s, and you're running them at the same time, is even just picking a day where you just kind of stop everything and just focus on these files, to stay in contact with them, to make sure that you can provide some sort of updates for them, and that you just stay on top of mind, right? That's with your clients. Now, you can also do that, even with my clients that I'm prospecting, is I do the same thing. Like every Fridays for me, I go back to the people that I've prospected during the week, and I end up sending them a text message. Hey, I know the weekend's coming up. If something were to pop up, I can make myself available. Same thing happens on Mondays. The email text message goes out. Hey, the weekend happened. Did you happen to go take a look at? I'm here if you need me. So just kind of time blocking certain spots throughout the week, and then kind of just staying on top of it. You know what I mean? Or staying on top of your schedule, which would then at that point force you to kind of stay on top of your clients.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Shri, it definitely boils down to the schedule and time blocking, right? And that's the hard part, is because we sometimes think one thing is more important than the others, right? If you have a deal in contract, is it important to move that to the finish line? Absolutely. But is it also important to still prospect and make sure you have more clients lined up after these close? Absolutely. They're both important, right? So you have to put priority on both of them. And the only way to do that is to stick to something that you can repeat every single day, right? Or something that works for you. Like, I'll show you, I've showed you guys this before, just like my calendar. And you can do some sort of version for yourself, but let me see real quick. Okay, so like what I've done, guys, is I've blocked out my calendar to just have certain blocks when I do things, right? So 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm working on emails, I'm in Slack, I'm delegating things. I have a meeting with Jason every week from 10 to 11:30. And then from this time right here, I'm working on operations and systems and stuff like that. And then I reserve my afternoons for my calls, like with you guys, recruiting calls, coaching calls, and stuff like that, right? Is it perfect every time? No, but most of the time, I would say I'm 80%, 90% sticking with the schedule. On Tuesday, it's similar, right? Emails, Slack, delegate stuff, prep for our team meeting. Then we have our team meeting. Then I have time to meet with people, coaching calls, recruiting appointments, stuff like that, right? It's pretty much the same, guys, except for on certain days where I pick up my kids, I have that blocked out. And then I try to use Fridays to record content. So I have a content calendar blocked in there, right? But if you notice, the consistent things is like working on emails, going into Slack, making sure I'm returning, answering questions, stuff like that, delegating things, and then reserving time for my appointments in the afternoon. And so you guys can do something very similar, right? And an easy way to do it is just, I would use 12 p.m. as a cutoff. And from when you wake up until 12, that's all your time to prospect, try to book appointments, follow up, stuff like that. And then anything after 12 is going to be your time to work on files, trainings, meetings, meet clients, go on appointments and stuff like that. So if you just keep it like that every single day, that's easy to follow, right? Use the AM to create money-making opportunities. Use the PM to go close those money-making opportunities. And I think that's what Blanca does too, right? Blanca, like we were talking about schedule. I know you just came back, but one of the things that we're talking about right now is how do you manage multiple clients at a time and make sure your prospecting doesn't fall off as well, right?
Yeah.
And I know you live by a schedule. Maybe walk us through what your schedule looks like in a day.
So basically the mornings is my calls, right? I try to just really knock out my new leads, my follow-ups, my calling is what I try to do in the mornings every day. And then after that is the appointments. I'm scheduling my appointments now anytime after 1 o'clock. Because if I schedule it before 1 o'clock, I'm sabotaging my morning. So remember, you have control over your schedule and your morning. So every appointment that's going to be a new appointment, unless it's like the client absolutely can't, it'll be like a one-off exception type of thing. But I'm religiously trying to stick to that, where all my appointments are going to be after 1.
So that emails and stuff. When are you checking your emails or working on your actual files that are in escrow?
After the morning calls. Because if I do that, then you're stuck and you're not doing your calls and you're just tedious work. tedious work, paperwork, and it's not money producing activity. So after the morning call session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mine is the same way, guys. I won't take an appointment in the morning at all. Like I don't care if it's a buy or a listing, it just won't happen. So usually my first appointment is like around 1:30, and then 1:30 and on, it's pretty much you can get a hold of me. But before that, I try to lock in behind like a screen and just make phone calls, either cold calls or follow-ups. But yeah, anything before 12 o'clock, you won't catch me doing anything else other than prospecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way, right? Like this is a saying I've heard, right? Like the world is not going to collapse if you don't call someone back after 11 or 12, right? Like there's usually nothing that urgent with one of your deals where if you don't call back after 11 or 12, right, or get back to that email, nothing's really going to happen because you guys have other people in the deal. You have Melissa, you have Andrea, you have Tin, you have Rochelle, you have people watching the emails as well. You have the lender, you have the title company. So that their job is to just strictly work on the file, right? Your job as a salesperson is to spend more time in front of new clients. And so the minute that you just realize like, hey, it's okay if I don't answer an email until after 11 or 12, once I've knocked out my calls and my follow-ups, you get a lot of control over your business that way, guys.
Yeah.
Like when I wake up, it's rare. Like I'll sometimes check my email on my phone, but a lot of times I won't check my email till after 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if you check your email, then you start saying, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to respond. I got to do this. And then you didn't do what you had to do to book more appointments. Right. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you guys are jumping straight into emails and like putting out fires and working on your files first thing in the morning?
Not anymore. So
Yeah. Mark, you are?
I don't think I have any type of a block of certain things I'll block out for the week, but on a day-to-day basis, I think my schedule is pretty like, this is here, I'm doing this, this is here, I'm doing this, and I'm just kind of like almost winging it day to day.
Like reactive. You're being reactive.
Yeah, as long as I feel like I'm doing something productive to move stuff forward, I'm doing it.
Okay. So that's where I would challenge you, right? Because in this room right here, Blanca is probably the one closing the most deals, right? Consistently, you know, and you guys are all as talented as Blanca, right, Blanca? I mean, would you guys say these guys are all as talented?
more
talented, maybe more energy, maybe younger, whatever, more savvy on certain things or whatever. But what Blanca holds over you guys is she is freaking consistent, dude, on managing her time and her schedule, which allows her to just put points on the board, right? Even I made that, we always talk about this. I was staying at my parents' house, you know, while my house was getting remodeled a few years back. And even during COVID, every day I'd come downstairs and Blanca was behind the CRM FirePoint back then. And she's making calls in the morning at the kitchen table, right? Because we weren't in the office during that time. So she was at the kitchen table. She was dressed, by the way. She took a shower, got ready, did her makeup. She was wearing her work clothes and everything. And she's freaking with her little notepad and her freaking phone, just hitting the phones and following up all throughout COVID, all throughout this time. I would come down and she would already be making calls, talking to clients, booking appointments. So what I'm trying to tell you, and that could be also because Blanca came from like the banking industry where she was always on like a schedule, right? Where she had to be there. So maybe that's just ingrained in her.
Yeah.
But I know that's one of the keys to her success is the consistency. And then plus, you know, she's just really awesome with clients, right? Awesome in general. And so if I were you guys, I would live by a schedule. And then Mark, especially when you have kids, you got to live by a schedule even more. Like there's no way you can, it's a lot harder to wing stuff when you have certain places you need to be for your kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the key, guys, is just managing the escrows. Like, to be honest, like I can manage a lot of escrows and still do all the other things I do because I don't focus so much on the escrows, guys, to be honest. I let Andrea and the team handle it. Maybe that's not a good thing, but I respond when I need to respond.
That's me.
Right?
Now too. Yeah. Because otherwise it's consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But But
Yeah.
once a week, I check on my file. Every week, I check on my file, right? Me and Andrea meet every week. We go over all the files. So once a week, I'm getting an update on what's happening, you know, and I see the emails or whatever. But if I feel like, oh, they'll handle that, I let them handle it. And then if I know I need to step in, then I'll step in. But I try not to step in. I try to get out of the way, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once it's in contract, right? Once it's in contract, because usually if it's a buyer, once it's in contract, you're really waiting on the lender. Most of the time, right? If it's a seller, once it's in contract, then yeah, you're the same thing. You're still waiting on the lender to close the deal. I don't know. So Shri, Patrick, and Mark, no more winging it, right? No more emails in the morning, guys. Like emails after you hit your calls and your follow-ups.
Yes.
I mean, even guys, like I can't think of anything in the process on the buyer or the seller side where it actually even like where like we need to get involved as much. You know what I mean? Like I think you guys need to get away from being more of like the agent doing things to more of the agent that's dictating doing things, right? Like there's nothing really that needs to involve you guys. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Blanca, but I don't see anything. You know what I mean? Where it needs me involved. I mean, there might be some small stuff, right? But a lot of the major stuff, like the fires, like the gals can take care of it. They're great at what they do.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
once it's in process, like Kika said, once it's already streamlined, submitted, you're pretty much on autopilot mode because it's the lender doing everything, the appraisal, the conditions, everything that, unless there's like inspections you're gonna do or something follow up, then yes, but otherwise it's pretty streamlined.
I think that's the coolness about working with PRG, right? Is that every kind of aspect of the process has already been kind of like on autopilot for us. And they kind of have an idea. I've never ordered staging. I've never ordered photography. I don't even know who the hell photography is. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I think once which is the cool thing is just, it allows me to focus on the next deal, right? That's all I really want to focus on. I don't want to focus on making phone calls to an inspector. I don't really
Yeah.
care. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe kind of looking at it as like that too, guys, is figuring out like what really does involve me and what really doesn't, and kind of putting some trust more on the process itself with the gals, because I don't know about you guys, but if those gals were taken away from me, I'd be lost. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you know, maybe kind of trusting in that process a little bit more.
Yeah, and then it also, I know this was a thing that even with Blanca, which I think was a breakthrough, where she had to learn to let go of stuff, right? Maybe Blanca, maybe talk about that a little bit, right?
Yeah. It was like letting go because you feel like you need to be involved every step of the way with the transaction and you don't. Then you're just monitoring emails and you're looking for stuff. And rather than focusing on prospecting or following up with your past clients, that's also a form of prospecting, is staying in tune, right? And we dropped the ball on that a lot of the times. And it was because for me, it was hard. I felt like nobody could do it better than me. And I was wrong. So once I realized that, it opened up my time. I was able to focus on more money producing activities and just service my future business, my funnel, my pipeline to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think once she really started leaning into that, guys, and her business just started taking off even more. You got to remember, right? Like sometimes we think, you know, no one can do it as good as me, but they don't need to do it as good as you, right? As long as it can get done like 80 to 90%, that's typically good enough, right? To move it forward.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you might say, oh, I would have responded to that email a little bit different, or I might have tweaked it or whatever, but did that really matter in the grand scheme of things? No, it still moved forward. Everything's still working. That's really, I think, what you got to focus on.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about, we got like 5 more minutes. Let's talk about sellers, guys. What are you guys doing? Those of you guys that have done, maybe Blanca, you've done more listings. Rob, you've done more listings. Any keys to success when you're working with sellers? Maybe is there 1 or 2 things that you feel really makes a difference when you're working with your sellers, whether it's in the listing appointment, whether it's once you're getting them, you know, to move forward, or during negotiations? I don't know. I'm either part, anything that comes to mind. What are some tips for having more success with sellers?
I would say the initial spots for you guys, like Mark and Shri, and I know Patrick's out, but is that the decision to sell a property is a big decision, right? That's, I wouldn't say so much emotional, but more logical on that side, right? And what you have to understand is that usually a lot of the listings that you're going to get, in my opinion, come from follow-up. So your follow-up game is going to have to be strong enough and know that it is a process mentally for them to cross that threshold or until they're ready to make it happen. So I picked up a listing 2 days ago from a client that that me and Kike went to a year ago, right? And it's just that consistent follow-up that we got that got us to this point. But you have to understand that, it is going to be a follow-up. Now, things like Zillow seller, I don't have too much experience with Zillow sellers, but from Zillow sellers, from what I understand with Blanca, they're a lot more easier. I'm sorry, the transacting phase is shortened a lot. So that's something that I have to figure out. But I would say that a tip would be in general, if on the seller side, is that your follow-up game is going to have to definitely be strong.
Yeah.
I think that's true, right? It's the conversion timeline for a seller is a lot longer than a buyer, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like it doesn't just happen overnight. Usually when someone says, all right, we're ready to buy, then they start meeting with lenders, they start looking at properties. When someone thinks about selling, they typically think about selling a year or two before they actually start selling.
Yeah.
So just know that, right? Like if you have sellers you're talking to, you're going to have to nurture them for a long time before they actually pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And Zillow, obviously with the Zillow ones, we are seeing some that are like happening quick, because by the time once they finally click on Zillow, they probably have already been thinking about it for a year. But then even with the Zillow ones, there are still some that are still follow-ups and nurtures. You know what I mean? So it's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's crazy because you have to remember that in order for them to click on Zillow sellers, it's an action item, right? So by them clicking, they took action, and that action already had a thought process behind it. That took about a year to get to there, right? So yeah, that's why I would probably say that's why Zillow's sellers are a lot better in converting. But yeah, there's still a follow-up process.
Yeah. Blanca, how about on the listing appointment? Anything that you feel really helps you move clients forward on the listing appointment?
It's just really understanding their need. And I could give you an example of the one that Rob and I are working with in Castro Valley. It's a divorce case, and it's going to be a little tedious, but at the end of the day, both parties are aware that we're there just to help them on their terms and their time. And I feel that when you establish that, whether it be an immediate turnaround sell or a long-term, that's the deal breaker, honestly. To my opinion, if they feel that they can trust you, that you're looking out for their best interest and you're not there just to make a quick sale, that's what really creates the value on them deciding to move forward and getting them to sign the agreement.
Yeah.
That right there, you can dive into that, Kika, so much, because I would 1,000% agree that right there is probably the difference on the selling side is that if you can come at it more from a consultant point of view without and taking your intentions out of it, which is a commission, right? The being genuine comes out really easy. And if you basically, even starting off with a line, like we use this, Blanca, right? It's like, hey, listen, guys, I'm not here to convince you to sell. That's not my job. You already convinced yourself to sell. Like, my job here is just to facilitate that process and show you how it works, right? So in reality, the selling part, you've already done that. My job now is just, we're trying to figure out if I'm going to be the right person to help you in this process, right?
And saying it that way, if I'm going to be the right person, and then they look at you like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Actually, the one that Blanca and I did it, we actually turned it around. You know what I mean? Where I told him, and I said, listen, let's get one thing straight, because he was being a little bit of I don't want to say a bully, but I go, let's get one thing straight, is the way that you're interviewing us, we're also interviewing you. You know what I mean? So we're in a position right now in our career where we get to pick and choose who we want to help out. We definitely want to be a part of the process, but let's just keep that in order, right? Because he was saying that we were more being money hungry. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, you need to chill right there, But that's the part, is that when you can have these types of conversations where you're honest and open, in a finesse way. I don't think I was disrespectful, right? But where we can say things in a finesse way where, hey, listen, we're just here to help on the process, right? You're going to make the decision if me and Block are going to be the right person to make that possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the seller feel like you are there to help them figure this process out, or do they feel like you're just there to get a listing agreement signed, right? Because the listing agreement will get signed as a byproduct of them trusting you and you showing them how you can help them get from where they're at now to where they're trying to go, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, our presentation and all that, those are all tools to help you have that conversation. But like we said in the other listing presentation trainings, that first slide of like where we're diving into the questions and peeling the onion back of why you selling, tell me about it, right? That was, I think, the one that really makes the difference. Right. And Shri, I know I gave you some advice. You had a call recently with the seller, right? We'll talk about that real quick and then we'll wrap up.
That was a great call, actually. Yeah, this was a client I'm nurturing from last 6 months, and I think at this point they have 2 homes, and they are planning to keep one home as rental and one want to sell, right? Like Enrique said, like, hey, at this point, still it's not like they're convinced, right, whether they to sell it or not. Like you have to take a layer back and understand why again they want to sell the one of the houses. So that's what we discussed in that appointment. Like Enrique said, like, hey, why do you want to sell this house? Then he said like he has to move back to India on some issue, and now he can't come back here. So now he has to make a decision of there are 2 houses. One is in Cambrian and Fremont. In the longer run, which fetches a more equity. So based on that, I want to keep one as rental and one I want to just sell it off. I don't want to keep 2 mortgages. So like he said, I tried to pull all the layers back. And then he asked me like to just present some numbers on like which one is having more equity if you see in like next 5 year appreciation wise. And like, I gave him all the numbers, and now he's like trying to make a decision which ones to keep or which ones to sell it off.
Yeah.
So like, like he said, like the main thing is peel all the layers back. Why he's planning to sell, what's his present condition. And what are the present condition of the properties as well. One is rented, one is just sitting vacant.
Yeah.
So he's going to take a call soon.
Good stuff, guys. I know we discussed a lot. Hopefully you guys got some pointers. We're coming up on time now. But let's keep these types of conversations going, right? I want to just say great job to everybody on this call. I mean, we got some good momentum right now. You guys all have things in the works, deals in contract, listings coming up, appointments and stuff like that. I just want to reiterate what we said in the meeting. Right now is the time to push, guys, because right now is when the market is on our side. The spring and summer months is when you're getting that boost of the market, right? So if there's ever a time you're going to push, it's going to be right now. And I'm here to help you guys. Also, reach out to me. I know Patrick does a great job of calling me, Shri. Rob's called me on a few deals, Blanca, Mark. So just let's keep that going, right? If you have a deal, a situation, you need help, you need to bounce an idea, or you're going to go meet on a listing appointment, or you're in negotiations, anything like that, that's what I'm here for, to help you guys. Because those 1 or 2 little things we talk about could be the difference between you getting that deal to move forward, right? And let's keep going, guys. Let's keep making it happen. Appreciate you guys. All right.
Hey, Kiki, can you stay on for a bit?
Yeah, I'll stay on, guys. We'll see you guys later. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.